missed it, so, ooh. But welcome. I am so happy, first of all, that you all came out, on a Saturday that's absolutely gorgeous out to come here and hear me talk a little bit about nutrition. So that must mean you guys must really want to learn from me. So that's why I'm here. I am a registered dietitian. So what that means is I have to, in order to become a registered dietitian, you need a master's degree in nutrition. You have to do a 1,500-hour clinical rotation, like rotations all over the place. And you have to take a licensing exam, almost like a nurse, and maintain that credential every 5 years. So it's kind of like a big step over. Some people claim that they're a nutritionist or a trainer might give you info in class. Well, what makes a registered dietitian a little different, what I am, is if you're pre-diabetic and you need help controlling your blood sugars, I can actually help you with that, and a trainer should not. If you're diabetic, if you have kidney disease, if you have cancer, if you have any kind of medical condition that you need to learn how to eat it for, really the only person that should be giving you advice is a registered dietitian. Otherwise, they're out of their scope of practice. So that makes me a little bit different, and that's why I'm so happy to be here, because yeah, when I did my clinical rotation, the part of it that I loved the most was the education piece, going into the patient and kind of teaching them, okay, you've been diagnosed as a diabetic, let's go over how to count calories. And it lit me up inside. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I like to break it down into words and just make it make sense, because let's face it, there is so much out there. Even for me, I can't even research it all because there's so much out there. So if anybody has questions and I don't know the answer to, I will most certainly get back to you, because it's so broad and so expansive. Of course, now we got the no siggle, I talk too much. Talk too much. So today we're going to be building a performance plate. Of course, Pete.
Click real quick, and I think it should go away. Boom, and I hit the air.
I see. I'm
Gotcha.
so glad. So I'm all about like changing your mindset on what you think about food, and that's big right now in the food field, in the nutrition field. So I heard this somewhere from another sports dietitian, and I kind of took it from her. It is athletes fuel up and train, they don't diet and exercise. So we have to think about food a little bit differently. We don't want to think about dieting, because that's just restriction and fueling up. We're fueling our bodies. Food is fuel. People label things as good, bad. I'm doing good today. I'm doing good today. But what happens when you start to eat something that you labeled as bad? How does that make you feel inside? Doesn't it kind of make you feel a little guilty, like you did something wrong? There's a whole cycle of shame when you label foods good or bad. So I want to change your mindset in thinking you can have what you want. You just have to learn how to make the whole diet fit around the goodies. You can have your goodies, but the majority of your diet should be the stuff that your body actually needs to exercise and perform, and just to be healthy. So it's about adding nutrient-dense foods to protect your health, fuel your body, and aid in recovery after your hard training. So boom. How do I build a performance plate? Anybody have an idea?
Like veggies, you mean?
You like veggies, you mean? Do any of you remember back in the day the food pyramid, the food guide pyramid?
Yes.
Some of you teachers, yes. Well, now it's the food plate. But when I work with athletes, it's a little bit differently. I still use the food plate method, but I talk a little bit more about how you eat foods to fuel your workouts. And you guys are athletes, let's face it. You're orange athletes.
Woo.
Yes, Pete.
Yep.
We're athletes here. We're not exercising, we're training. Okay, so there's that plate up there. You see the right-hand corner starches. This is a quarter of your plate on light training days, or a third or more if you do 2 workouts. So let's say you did a orange 60, and then you did a lift 45, or you lifted yourself at the gym. Those are the days where you want to have the starchy carbs a little bit more on your plate. But in terms of the transformation challenge, you want to think about making a quarter of your plate carbs. What do carbs do? Well, they fuel your brain. Like your brain only wants glucose. It doesn't really like to use anything else. It uses ketones. We'll talk a little bit about that later if you have questions, but your fuel source for your body, for your brain, glucose, AKA carbohydrates. They maintain your workout intensity. So when we're going all out and we need that energy system, well, your body's using carbohydrates to fuel those all out efforts. It's not fats, it's not protein, it's carbohydrates. Eating enough carbs in your diet spares your body from eating your muscle mass. So what happens when you don't eat enough carbohydrates? Your brain needs to work, right? It starts to take away from certain things that aren't so necessary. Your muscles are necessary, but kind of not to your body. It wants to protect its heart. It wants to make the brain going. So it starts to take the energy from your actual muscle mass. So if you're not getting enough carbohydrates from your food for fuel, your body's going to start to eat your protein. It's called gluconeogenesis. It needs to make sugar. It's eating your actual muscles. So if you're not eating enough carbs, don't think carbs are good or bad. Your body needs it. And also carbs provide fiber for heart and digestive health. So we've heard soluble fiber is good for heart. Eating a bowl of oatmeal lowers cholesterol. That's a benefit to eating carbohydrates. Any questions before you move on? So good sources, 100% whole grain. So if you're looking at a food label, you want to look for the words whole grain or whole wheat as one of the first words. Do we all know how to look for the food label? We've heard of that before. So you just flip an item over and those are the key words. So if you're getting waffles, bread, bagels, those are the words that you want to look for on the food label. Brown rice, you can also eat white rice. Same amount of calories, but brown rice just has a little bit more vitamins, a little bit more fiber. They do fortify certain foods with the stuff they take out of whole wheat. It's always better to get the whole grain first, but if you want white rice, rest assured it still has nutrients in it. Pasta, beans, oatmeal, whole grain breakfast cereals, those are great quick options for morning classes if you want to eat something quick. And vegetables and fruits. Who loves vegetables and fruits in this group? Yes? Yay! Let's shout out a few faves.
Brussels sprouts.
Raspberries, blueberries.
Oh, Brussels sprouts. Pete?
Oh, Brussels sprouts.
Oh, you
Big
love
time.
Brussels sprouts?
Big time.
I do too, but like, yeah, cruciferous, we won't go there. But like the beans and all that stuff, good for you. But yeah, just make sure that you have a dog, you can blame it on your dog. But so half your plate, that's where you want to fill yourself up. This is where you get all the bang for your buck. Fruits, vegetables. Fruits are not evil. Have we heard fruits have sugar? They have sugar. I can't eat it. You can eat fruits. This is the natural sugar that you should be eating. When you eat an apple, you're getting the fiber, you're getting the vitamins, you're getting minerals, you're getting everything your body needs. It's a sugar, but you're getting everything else with it. So if you eat a candy bar, you're pretty much just getting the sugar. So don't think you have to eliminate fruits out of your diet. So I don't know what you guys' diets you're following. Please don't. Eat your fruits and vegetables. They will fill you up. They provide antioxidants in the form of phytochemicals. That just means all the colorful parts in fruits and vegetables, all those things that make fruits and vegetables colorful are actually, they do all the health benefits inside of you. Science is just tipping the iceberg on exactly which one does what, but just know, make sure you eat a variety of colors and options to fill that all out. And again, fiber and digestive health. So fiber is very important to have in your body. It helps you, keeps you regular, keeps you moving, and it also helps to lower the cholesterol. It also makes you feel fuller longer. So if you eat a little bit of fiber and you're on a, you're cutting those calories out, you want to feel fuller, this is the kind of stuff that you want to fill up on that's very low calorie, but very nutrient dense. Because sometimes if we restrict a lot of calories, we start to cut out things that are really important for our bodies to eat. So ensure that you eat that rainbow, and that's about half your plate. Good sources, every color in the rainbow, you already shot out a few. All right, so protein. What have we heard about protein?
Muscle.
Muscle, yes, it does. It does help you build muscle, maintain your muscle. It helps to recover your muscle after a workout. It also forms enzymes, immunity, all that stuff in your body. Protein does that as well. It can be used for fuel, however, that's not what your body wants to use protein for. It wants to build things up. It doesn't want to use energy from protein. So it aids in damaged muscle, it stimulates muscle protein synthesis. So after that hard workout, you eat a little bit of protein and that'll help you repair the muscle tears that you do in class. Because that's what we're doing. We're actually damaging our muscles in class. We're ripping them. As we recover and rest, that's when your muscle actually builds up, you get stronger. So that's that hypertrophy that we're looking for. Protein helps with that. And again, it forms enzymes, hormones, antibodies, blood transporters. Any questions here? Well, like, you guys are so quiet. Feel free at any point to raise your hand, interject, let me know. I'm going too fast. So good lean sources, everything you see up there, let's hear from you. What are some of your favorite protein sources?
Chicken.
Chicken, okay. What else? That's it?
Shrimp.
Shrimps are good.
That's why I'm here.
Shrimps. Scrimps. Oh, you want ideas?
There's something that red meat is not included in there. It's like,
I didn't put red meat because it's
Like
not
steak.
lean. It's high in saturated fat. You can eat flank sirloin, but just make sure, like with anything, it's portion sizes. So you can eat red meat. It's not bad, but you want to look for those leaner
right, but
cuts.
some people label it as bad, is what I'm trying to, some people say it's not good.
You want to eat more. It's not bad. It's just you want to put more. The typical Western diet, if you would look at that plate, if we went back, the problem with red meat is most American diets, and I'm not saying you guys, but it's typically half the plate the meat, half the plate starches, and maybe a little side salad. The problem is the amount of meat people are eating. It's way too much. Portion size, they say the palm of your hands, it's really just 3 to 4 ounces, and that will run you anywhere between 20 and 25 grams of protein. That's pretty much all your body can absorb at one time. So people that drink massive muscle shakes with tons of protein, your body just pees it out or stores it as fat because it doesn't need it. It only can absorb certain things at a time. That's why I don't say eat 6 smaller meals, but that's why just eating one giant meal really isn't so great because your body can only absorb so much at one time. So that's the whole thing with red meat. There is controversy around it. Would I say, can you afford grass-fed organic beef every time you eat red meat? It's expensive. So that's why it's like, unless you can afford the good quality meat, I don't know. I'm like on this, like, I want to be more plant-based. It's really healthier, it's more economical, and it's not bad, to eat red meat, if that's what you like. Just make sure.
It's just how it's labeled, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I didn't put it up there for a reason.
That's why I'm
You can eat it, however, that shouldn't be your choice every night. There's like so many other things that you can eat in place of. For instance, fish, well, once we get to healthy fats, about 20 to 30%, I didn't put it on the actual plate. So it's about 2 teaspoons per meal or 2 tablespoons a day, depending on how many overall calories you're eating. I will say that for fats, your body needs fat. So the low fat diet thing, I don't know if anybody's lived through that whole era of, I know I see some eye rolls. I've lived through it too, and it was absolute junk. When you take things out of foods, it replaces it with something else. Like you just can't take something out of food and not replace it. So they replaced it with these really high processed carbohydrates that really like are terrible. That's where carbohydrates in the beginning got that bad rap, because we're talking about those filler carbs. that they put in those foods that are terrible. So fat is good for you. It's the chief storage of energy. So whatever your body doesn't use, it stores as that fat. But your body can use fat as energy. It just takes a little bit longer to use it. So that is more of a longer, slow, steady state aerobic zone is when fat is burned. It's burned throughout the day when you're resting, so your body uses fat as fuel then. It forms your cell membranes, it cushions your body, it provides heat for your body when you get cold. Satiety, it helps you feel full longer as well. So fat takes a little bit longer to empty out of your stomach. So that will also give you a feeling of fullness with meals. So you're not like starving after you eat something. Also, it carries fat-soluble vitamins around your body. So your body needs fat to take fat from your foods and use it in your body. So I don't know if anybody here does the skim milk, 0% milk or 0% dairy. Try to at least do 1% or add a fat in with that if you're doing it that way. So that way your body can absorb the vitamin D, which is a fat-soluble vitamin. So your body needs fat to absorb those vitamins. Any questions there? That hearts? Yeah. Good sources. So you mentioned red meat. Well, salmon would be a better alternative. Not the best, but there's certain fats called essential fatty acids that your body just can't make on its own, so it needs it from the diet. So salmon is one of them. Flax seeds, so if you're a vegan, vegetarian, don't think that's the only way. Flax seeds and walnuts also provide that essential fatty acids. You just need a little bit more of that instead of meats. Nuts, butters, seeds, avocado, vegetable oils, flax seeds. What are some favorite fats out here besides animal fat and ice cream? Avocados. That's a wonderful monounsaturated fatty acid. Very good for the heart, very healthy. It's very calorie dense. So I would say just portion it out because a whole avocado can be a crap ton of calories, but they're good. It's good energy. So just be mindful of that. A quarter cup of nuts, like who can eat just a quarter cup of nuts? You pour the nuts in there and you're like, for real? This is it? This is, So what I like to do is I like to combine nuts with something else. If you like that as a snack, I love combining nuts with a piece of fruit. Apple with peanut butter is absolutely delicious. Again, portion that peanut butter out because that can really add up fast. But those are the healthy fats that your body needs. Doesn't really need the saturated fat from red meat, but if it's good quality, like I said, grass-fed beef, organic, not full of those hormones and crap, that's the kind, if you're gonna do red meats, that is what you should look for. Because if you go to the grocery store and just look at the quality of meat, would you wanna eat that? I don't know. I don't know if I would. Not unless it's the good stuff, the good. But, so this is not part of the plate, but it's definitely part of being healthy and helping you through this transformation challenge is water. So as you work out, your muscles create a lot of heat, and your body temperature, it doesn't want to be overheated. It'll destroy everything inside. So how your body gets rid of that extra heat, you sweat. So that's what happens. That's why you're sweating. You don't sweat because you're out of shape. You don't sweat because you're not fit enough. You're sweating because you're exercising. You're getting really warm, and your body's like, oh, hold up, let's cool itself down. So you sweat. So you're sweating. You need to replace that with water. Water is one of the best things to drink. It hydrates you. There's no calories in it, so you're not taking calories that your brain doesn't register. Meaning, if you drink something, it's less satiating than if you would eat something. I know sometimes you like protein shakes, and those are great for convenience, but sometimes in order to trick your brain into feeling fuller, sometimes it's better to chew your food. So that's why water is a good option. Roughly a half of your body weight in ounces, and then a little bit more for exercise. For the sweat loss you get there is kind of the recommendations for water. Tips. Do you guys drink water here, or do we like water? Are we getting that hydration in? Kind of helps you. Sometimes your body might think it's hungry, it might actually be thirsty. So have a cup of water before you grab that snack, or have the fluid with your snack. I absolutely love, so you eat with your eyes. So get yourself a beautiful mason jar and make spa water, make it fancy. Make it so that you wanna drink water. Now it feels like it's spring out. You might have herb gardens. Mint is fabulous in water. Any kind of herb you can think about, cucumbers. Just jazz it up, and I guarantee you will drink it more. It's also more affordable than the hint waters out there. That's super expensive. So that's a great way to drink water on your own. Also, herbal tea, non-caffeinated, that's another way to get more fluids in if you don't like the taste of plain water. I love flavored seltzer. That's another great way. Just an option just to throw out your way. They make those fizzy, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what it is. It's that contraption that makes carbonated water. Those are fabulous. So you can just put in like the mint and the fruits and herbs that you want in that directly and make your own flavored seltzer. And if you're gonna do juice, just 100% juice on that label and dilute it. So you can drink juice, it's not the devil, but just be mindful it does have calories in it, and it doesn't necessarily have the fiber in it that you would want if you would actually eat a piece of fruit. I mean, some people do. Does anybody like fruit juices here? Am I the only one that likes juice? I'm a shot. I'm a
orange juice and seltzer water.
Yeah, it's like, I'm a shot. I like juice, but you know.
I buy 3 cases of bubbly every weekend.
That's
Yeah,
great.
salsa water is my thing. It's my thing.
Bubbly.
Can't
I
help
love the bubbly. Here's just some meal ideas. Is there any questions you have for me before moving on? Because I know Westport had a ton of, they were like, ha, 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 ha.
Don't be
You
shy.
guys are just sitting here, don't be shy, yeah.
When it comes to fish, I know obviously like wild caught's always better, but what is in like farm raised that would make a difference in nutrition? You know?
The deal with that is when it's farm raised, it's so many are raised in one little pen, and it's just not a healthy condition for animals to be that way. So that's what the big main concern is the pollution in the water not being so great, yada, yada, yada. But it's, again, that's why I encourage a lot of people to start thinking about more plant-based alternatives, because it's just like the quality of meat in this country, just me growing up and just looking at it, just in the store itself, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's evil, it's bad, but your body doesn't need quite as much protein as you've been led to believe. Same thing with water, about half your body weight in ounces is typically around that, the amount of protein that your body needs to build and repair and do all that wonderful stuff that protein does. These are just examples of meal ideas up there. Anybody want to shoot out one of their favorite healthy meals? Everyone's like looking at me like, I don't eat healthy, that's why I was here.
So when you put up the slide about the like you were like quarter plate carbohydrates,
Yeah.
protein, so would that translate to macros, or like if you were tracking macros, like?
It kind of does. I do it that way because it's simple for the majority of the population, because if you are a macro counter, obviously use that. If that's working for you and you know how to do it and you love those numbers.
Well, like what would your targets be for carbohydrates?
That it would kind of roughly be the same. So I would still, because the carbohydrates from vegetables and fruits are a little bit less than the starch part of it. So you can eat half the plate in veggies, because those, like a cup of green beans probably has 5 grams of net carbs, whereas a cup of rice might run you 30 grams, you know what I'm saying? So if you are, it kind of does roughly work out the same.
So
to speak.
25% protein would be okay.
25?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you had up there, right? It was about 25% of the plate was protein.
Yeah, like a quarter of your
Yeah.
plate.
So I recently read that if you're gonna be in caloric deficit, in order to make sure that you're losing fat and that muscle, that you need to eat about your body weight in ounces of protein a day.
Your body weight in ounces That's a lot of freaking
It's
protein.
a ton of protein.
I'm like, for me,
It's
that would be
insane.
125
Yeah,
grams
no,
of
that's why
protein.
I'm wondering about.
That's why I said it's roughly half your body weight. I think the reason why they say this for weight loss diets is protein also is very satisfying when you eat it. So after you eat a piece of meat or some protein, it does stay in your system longer, so it does help you. It also takes your body a lot of energy to break down protein because there's a lot of like chemical pieces that your body needs to get rid of, and it does require a little bit more energy off of fats and carbohydrate. Like carbohydrates are clean. It's just like out your body, it's clean fuel.
I'm actually really happy you asked that because my biggest issue right now with trying to figure out my changes to my diet, I keep reading things that are like, oh, you need to up your protein.
Yeah,
I've
I
been
read this in
tracking.
more than one place.
Yeah.
That
I mean, it's
in
not
order
a bad
to make sure that you're burning
thing.
fat and not losing muscle
Yeah.
as you go into this caloric deficit, that you need to be having all the protein, but then it's so interesting that you just said your body can only absorb so much of it.
Yeah, so that's
So it's like,
why
how
it's
are
not.
you supposed
Because
to?
I've been tracking it and there's no way I can eat that much protein. I've been trying
It's way
and I'm
too
like,
much for
I
your
can't
bodies.
do it.
It's just, like I said,
What you're doing.
I think
because
they
your
make-
macronutrients needs to be kind of offset each other.
that, and also some people have
Because of
certain
weight or age
medical
or-
conditions where they can't absorb fat. Their body, it's just malabsorption. So if you give them a high fat diet, they're gonna be a mess. Like they're gonna be in that bathroom 24/7. That's why you need to work with a registered dietitian. Some people have celiac disease, true celiac disease, and you know, they can't eat wheat and they can't eat whole grain stuff, you know, that just wrecks their body. They need to learn like the sources to eat without the gluten in it. That's why it's,
But I
like
believe,
protein.
like, if there's someone that's my age, that's taller than me, or everybody's body's different. So
Yeah.
I may not absorb what a person my age and my weight can absorb.
absolutely, you're so correct.
So it has to be based on you,
Yes.
your weight, and it has to be, someone has to oversee that.
You could do it yourself in a way. You have to, like, that's why, like, tracking calories and macros are great. It also makes you aware of what you're eating and where your nutrients are coming from. So, like I said, some people are carb sensitive. Like, they eat a carb and they, you know, immediately put on weight. A lot of it's water, because carbs are stored in your body with water. But some people are carb sensitive, so they work better on a higher percentage of fat and higher percentage of protein. But you don't know that unless you play your own advocate. Like, a dietitian's not gonna know that either. If you meet with me, I have no idea if your body can tolerate something. I have no idea what medications you're on unless you tell me. Then I can tell you, okay, well, this medication you should avoid grapefruit. Like, that's not, you know, they don't work.
Cholesterol.
That's why it's scary when I see trainers giving out dietary, like, you can give that's just like, this is a very general blanket kind of nutrition thing, cause we can just talk a whole hour, a whole lecture just on protein and all of that. So it's a lot of information. I'm kind of giving you like a tip of the iceberg, and hopefully what you learned today, you can take. So that's the whole idea of making a performance plate.
No, I was just saying that because I read a lot of like different
Yeah.
stuff.
It's all conflicts.
Like, I'm like,
Every single one of it is
You're telling me to do
confusing.
this, you're telling me to do that, and I was like, it doesn't contradict you, so you have to listen to your body, and you have to be careful, like, what instructions you follow.
Well, yeah, look at who's writing the article. If it says registered dietitian, that's probably a good person to listen to, because we follow a code of ethics. Like, we don't promote supplements, we're not gonna be like, oh, look at this raspberry ketone supplement. This is gonna make you burn fat. Like, we are held to a higher, like, no, it's quackery. A lot of it's quackery. It's just insane out there, the amount of stuff I see. And some of it's just not researched well, and until it is.
I've also heard that, like, so I try to have, like, vegetables are your friend. Like,
Yeah.
fill up as much as,
Oh,
like, if I'm
yeah.
hungry.
If you're
go-
hungry, that's what you
Go
go
to a
to,
vegetable,
yeah.
right, that I really like,
Yeah.
and mix it up. But I've also heard that vegetables, because of, like, you know, food adulteration and stuff, that we actually need more vegetables than we think we do, because they don't carry the nutritional value that
It
they
might.
used to because of the soil and everything like
I've read
that.
that.
I mean, it very might well
What
be.
your take on that?
The scary thing is, if you really think about it, is we don't have enough food in this country to feed people organically. There's no way. No way everybody can eat grass-fed beef. There's no way people can eat that. There's just not enough. So that's the
And when
scary,
things come out from other countries, their checks are a
that's,
little bit different.
that's the
Yeah.
scary reality of it. I don't know if you, you watch these documentaries. Some of it's fear-mongering, but some of it's true. It's just like we have outpopulated our food sources. So now there's two levels of food. The food level that the wealthy can afford, and then the rest of us, we kind of just have to make the best choices possible with what we have. That's why loading up on fruits and vegetables are the best bet. Like if you're hungry on your plate, rather than grab another piece of meat or more starch, fill yourself up on the vegetable part because you are getting more of those nutrients that your body needs. Whereas, yeah, protein is valuable. It does have certain vitamins and minerals, but again, I know, it's kind of wild to think about it. That's why a lot of foods have become processed and preserved. You're like, well, why the hell did they put preservatives in food if they're bad for us? It's because there's like baby boomers, that whole generation of people just overpopulating. They're like, well, how can we keep this food better longer? So they started developing things to put in foods to keep them fresher longer to feed more people. It's kind of what happened, but sometimes it backfires. I don't want to like turn this into like a scary like Food Inc. thing. I will say you just have to make the best choices of, you know, with what you got. And you can't really go wrong with, you know, fruits and veggies, especially now springtime's coming around. There's gonna be a lot more available, you know, seasonally and locally. They have awesome farmer markets. You support your, you know, local farmers, so that's a great choice to go to. You know, you help them make their businesses so they're not bought out by Monsanto. So that's kind of, it's fun. It's kind of fun to go there and look and see what they have and just get creative with food. Does anybody here love to cook?
Getting there.
We have a few people. Ben's an amazing cook, by the way. I think it would be so fun to do a healthy recipe swap. Like here, like we all bring like our favorite like recipe and just bring it in and maybe do like a potluck to kind of like give each other like ideas of what to do, because a lot of us get stuck on like what the heck to eat for dinner, and sometimes just picking each other's brains and be like, well, I have this great turkey chili that's got, well, lentils in it and lots of veggies. It's super easy, let's bring it in and here's the card. So let me know if you'd be interested in that, because that would be fun to do, right, Pete?
Oh yeah,
Like
and
a
keep
healthy-
throwing the
yeah.
keep throwing the recipes in the group me too.
Yeah, that too. Like that's why I posted the other night. I know people don't eat seafood, but I was so tired. I'm like, I can't cook food right now. I just don't want to. So I had that paella from, I know, I love Trader Joe's. I'm their spokesperson, but it had carbs, it had seafood, and you know, some veggies. I threw in some extra frozen veggies, but that was kind of a quick, easy dinner that I literally just put in the pan and warmed it up.
Valencia has a killer ceviche that you just put right over lettuce and you're done.
And it's fresh, yeah.
It's fresh.
So sometimes
How do I
it's just,
stay away from the empanadas though?
I'm not saying, I said the ceviche.
I was gonna say they're arepas, like those are
Banana forever, maybe.
That's right.
So these are just key takeaways, just to wrap it all up. We just wanna think about, you know, plate and balance. You know, a quarter to a third of your plate starchy carbs, half of it, you know, those fruits and veggies, quarter lean meats, a little tablespoon of healthy fats, about half your body weight in ounces of butter, plus a little bit more on workout days. Of course, a way to check your hydration if you're not taking vitamins, supplements, minerals is the color of your pee. So you want it very light in color, unless you take a vitamin, you know it's gonna change the color, but that's how you know that you're getting enough fluids in your body. It's like the simplest way to figure that one out. Any more questions? I know that was a lot of information. I don't know if it was helpful, useful, to break it down for you.
Right after a workout, what would you suggest?
Carbohydrates, because your body use the carbs to burn, especially in this style of workout. And Orange Theory, it's very high intensity. So remember in the beginning I said, you know, carbs help keep the intensity up level in class. So we burn all the glycogen in our muscles, it's gone. So that's like key number one. A little bit of protein, lean protein, because you don't want the fat there just yet, because you want your body to soak it really up fast. So leaner protein would be the best option there. And then fluid. One of my favorite things post-workout, you guys are gonna think it's crazy, is chocolate milk and a banana. How easy. Sounds like a lot of sugar, a lot of blah, 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 but you get the fluids from the chocolate milk, you get the protein from the milk, get all those vitamins, minerals, and then you get the carbohydrates from the milk itself and also the banana.
Electrolytes.
And then electrolytes, that good old potassium. Body needs it after you sweat, so. And sodium. Even
Yeah.
like having a bowl of soup after you work out is probably like a really great thing, because your body loses a lot of sodium as well as you sweat. So have a little bowl of soup, little veggie soup with your sandwich.
Speaking of sodium, so a lot of like low calorie, you know, prepackaged,
Has a shit ton of sodium.
yeah.
That's the kind of sodium that you want to watch out for. That's why it's like you want to eat more things. You've probably all heard of this, in its natural state. So you want to grab that apple. You want to have those carrot sticks. You want to have the guacamole with your veggies. Like you want to start thinking about eating more of that stuff rather than packaged bars, chips, crap. They certainly do have a place in your diet. It's just you kind of want to eat less of that kind of stuff and more food that's grown from the earth. Not to say that like whole grain crackers or any of that stuff is bad for you. Like I love, what are they called? Wassa crackers. They're all whole grain. You put a little bit of peanut butter on them. That's a great little whole grain cracker. Does that answer your question?
Well, so
In a way.
obviously we know that sodium is bad for
Well,
you,
you were
right?
talking about sodium, yeah. So a lot of those things are loaded with sodium.
Increases your blood pressure and stuff like that, but like in terms of weight loss, does it really, like, other than making you hold on to water, like, does it really affect your weight loss?
No, it will make you retain water.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, I'm a very salty sweater. So if you're working outdoors on a hot, humid day, that's when you want your salt. You can get that from like a Gatorade, you know, dilute some Gatorade, don't drink the whole thing, but you can do things like that, or the bowl of soup. I've heard crazy things like some athletes do pickle juice, that's so gross, but that's when you want your sodium, is kind of when you sweat the most. That's when your body really needs it, because just like carbohydrates, your body needs to replace that sodium. Too much is a bad thing, it's like that sweet spot. In terms of weight loss, it does nothing. It might make you retain water, that's not really weight loss or weight gain, it's water retention that reflects. That's why I love the InBody Skinner, because it shows you what you are on the inside in terms of muscle and fat. Those are the two numbers of weight in our bodies that we really want to pay attention to the most. We want to reduce the body fat and increase your muscle mass. And if you just hop on the scale, what if you had like that cup of soup I mentioned before, the vegetable, very hearty, healthy, but it had a little salt in it. You step on the scale, you're probably gonna gain 5 pounds. And let's face it, us women, our cycles make us gain weight naturally, it just happens. So like if where you're at in your cycle, if you weigh yourself, you might be even 10 pounds heavier. So like, that's why the InBody, doing it once in the beginning and once at the end, you have enough time for your body to make a true change in true what you want to change. And that's decreasing the actual body fat and putting on the actual muscle mass. So 8 weeks is a good amount of time to see even a small change. If you weigh yourself every day, it's a shit show.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel, and then, because I've dealt with counseled a lot of people with disordered eating and eating disorders, it becomes a cycle of shame. And that's why I'm saying like the whole like philosophy about eating food, the psychology behind it. We don't want to label foods good, bad, because then there's that shame cycle that you make yourself feel terrible just for eating a cookie. It's wrong. You can eat that cookie. Let's just make sure around that cookie you're eating that big beautiful colorful salad, you know, you're eating that healthy, lean meat. You know, if you're gonna have that glass of wine out with your girlfriends, you know, have that salad at dinner time, maybe order the salmon. You trade, you kind of trade in. That's like Weight Watchers kind of helps you with that. They give you the points. It's like, all right, well, if you want the wine, maybe just a bite of dessert or maybe not dessert that night. It's just making better choices of what you really want. Like, what do you want to have to cheat? Like, if it's family Friday pizza night, have a slice of pizza, have a salad, have that glass of wine, but know the next day, you know, you're gonna have that egg omelet with veggies, and it's balance. It's all a balance. Now, does anybody do the cheat weekend thing?
Oh yeah.
We go buck wild, woo, it's the weekend, let's eat, let's go. We have to be mindful of that too. Like, weekend calories matter, guys. I know, I hate being the bad person, but spread all your fun stuff out. Don't concentrate it just on the weekends. Like, pick your days. No, all right, I'm going out Monday night with my girlfriends. That's when I'm gonna have my glass of wine. Done. At the restaurant, I don't necessarily wanna be the super healthy. I want something yummy, but I gotta know that breakfast and lunch, we're still eating, we're not starving ourselves, but we're eating healthier choices on that day. And then the next day, you know, you start again. It's fine. It's okay to eat things that you think are bad. They're not bad, it's just,
It's portion and.
yeah, you just have to, it's proper it's planning.
Right.
A big takeaway today is to plan what you eat. Get yourself a little calendar. I follow this dietitian, her name's Dana White, and I don't know if she has a template to download, but she is the master of how to plan a week out. Like, she shows you what she makes, and she's got kids. So she's got smoothie day, or bagels for breakfast, oatmeal for breakfast. Like, she maps it out so you know what you're eating at any given time, and when you go in the grocery store, you know exactly what to buy. So that's like a healthy, or a healthful strategy to use when, don't think meal prep is just, you know, cooking massive amounts of chicken and rice and all that. Make it fun, you know, if you buy the chicken, okay, so one day you can have chicken wrap, maybe make soup out of it the next day, maybe tacos the next day. Kind of look at your week as a whole, take a little time on a Sunday or when you have that downtime, think about it, and then that way you'll feel prepared, you won't be rushing. Or, if you're like me, think about the areas of where you work. I'm like, okay, well, I'm close next to Diamond Deli. Well, they make damn good salads over there, so I know I'm gonna go there for my salad. That's gonna be my lunch. So it's just being a little prepared, rather than, I'm starving, there's Wendy's down the street, I want French fries, I don't care. Does that make sense? Sometimes that's good though, if that's what you want. We're all just staring at me. Are we all tired? Are we tired? We see, yeah, I know. We made that direct, we just happened to make that direct eye contact, that's what made it weird, but.
I don't mean to be rude, but I.
No, you have to leave, that's okay. Any other questions for me? Feel free to ask. We have a question of, who's that, Adrian, like chilling on the floor?
I was waving goodbye. I was waving goodbye.
We're all done. We all wanna go out in the sunshine right now. Get some vitamin D, that's important. Your body takes the vitamin D from the sun and makes it, so there you go. Good for immunity. Please let me know if you have any questions outside of class. If you're embarrassed or you have something very personal that you need to ask me, reach out. I can give you my personal email. You can email me at any time. Please let me know, I'm your resource.
And we
Here.
will be
Doesn't matter.
raffling off that one-on-one consultation.
Oh, we have a
right?
one-on-one consultation
Yeah,
with you
yeah,
too.
yeah. So we're gonna do the raffle. We're gonna pick a name tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you all's names get entered, that's why they took your name down on the sheet, so that way I'll raffle it off, and that way I can really sit down and help you and look at what you're eating. I will say, if you start tracking down what you eat, you start to see your patterns as well. So start doing that. Not to count calories or macros unless you want to. It's also helpful, like, oh shoot, I'm making dinner and I took way too many bites of this, or I'm making my kids lunch and I took too many bites of this, or I'm in the office and jelly beans are there, or candy. I don't know what your office does, but anywhere you go, there's food. Food's everywhere. So be mindful. So meal plan, be mindful. Think about your plate. Veggies, fruits, load them in, drink your water. You all can go. You don't have to-
Hey, can we give Kristin a round of applause, guys? Come on. Huge thank you.